Now we have the little hedgehog all sewn together. I am going to show you how to crochet on the spikes now on the back for the little spikes, or my version of them at least. So it's really up to you where you start, because it's pretty forgiving. Once you have all of the stitches on there, you're not going to be able to really tell where you started or where you ended, or even the direction that you went, as long as they're pretty close together. So I like to start in the front because I like to give him a little bit of a V right here. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and attach to one of these the edges of the shell that we had made a little bit ago. So it takes just a second to attach. I may have had it a little bit tight. So what I do, I just attach with a single crochet, and then I'm gonna do 2 chains, and then I'm going to single crochet into the next chain from that hook. So, and then single crochet. So it's kind of hard to see here, but you've made a little spike. So now you can single crochet into the next stitch, wherever you want it to go next. It's completely up to you. So we'll single crochet into the next stitch, and then we'll decide where we're gonna go next. But before that, we're going to do 2 more chains, or single crochet into that second chain. And then once we've decided where we're going next, like I wanna start making this little V in the front of his head here. So all I'm going to do is insert my hook through that single crochet stitch on his head, and then do a single crochet stitch right there. You might have some little fluffy stuff coming out like I do. That's fine. We can pull it out all later. So then you'll chain 2 more times, single crochet into that second chain from the hook, and then wherever you want to go next. So in this case, I'm going to continue on this little V pattern and go over a little bit more and single crochet in there. And then keep going. So I've lost my tension here, and then we'll single crochet, chain 2 more times, and then single crochet into that second chain. And then I'm gonna go over a little bit further. So you'll see here in this, what I'm gonna do next is how it's pretty forgiving. So instead of doing from here to here like I was doing on the other ones, I'm gonna go from here to here. And this, you can do it however you want to. It's really hard to mess this up. But what you'll do is you'll just kind of fill it in wherever you think it fits. So I don't want to go any further down than between his eyes, but I do want to have a little pointed section right here. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put it down to the bottom, but then go back up toward the top. And then single crochet there. And then I want it to be pretty full. So I'm going to turn him around here. Now what I like to do is I like to go in rows. So I just did this row, and now I'm going to go back pretty close to it. So probably go like this one here. The more you do, the more it's going to fill in. But they fill in pretty quickly. So even though it might not seem like you're doing too much now, once you have all of these on here, it gets pretty full. So again, I'm just chaining 2 and then single crocheting into that second chain from the hook, and then doing a single crochet into wherever my heart takes me for the next place to be, the next stitch on the hedgehog. So you can kind of you can see the white in there, and that's okay because we still have several to do here. We probably are gonna make, I would say maybe 6 to 9 more stitches right here. So, and once we have all those, they're really gonna start smushing together, and then you won't be able to see the white so much. So I'm gonna single crochet 2 times and then just keep going. So now you can see that you see a little bit of white in there. And so I might go back around the back here and fill in just a little bit of that. This one's not too bad, but once I get this part in, it's gonna fill in this a little bit better as well. So I'm gonna go back this way. Sometimes when I do this, I crochet 2 chains and then I forget to do the single crochet. So sometimes I have to go back and fix that part, but it's takes a little bit to get used to holding the little hedgehog at the same time that you're trying to make those little picket stitches. So here I am just gonna kind of go back into this little gap that I have here, just to kind of fill that in. The one thing I generally don't do is go over the stitches I've already made. So for example, like I won't, since I have these other stitches right here in this row that you see, I won't go over on top of them. So I'm not gonna cross over and do a stitch in here. You probably could. I don't think it would hurt anything. I just like how I don't want to flatten one of them and make it look kind of wonky. Okay, so now I've gotten to the point where I finished the V in the front. I did go back and I added a little bit more so it would be pretty full on that white part and you wouldn't be able to see the white underneath these spikes. And then I started going from this direction over here, then back again. I will show you how I'm doing it on the brown just in case that's helpful. So I finished one stitch here and I crocheted, or I single crocheted into one of the back of these stitches, but I'm gonna go ahead and do another one kind of slowly just to make sure it's clear and helpful. So I'm chaining 2, 1, 2, and then I'm going to single crochet into that second chain. So I have my little picket stitch. I'm sure there might be different versions of this stitch, but this is the way I learned it at least. So I want it to be pretty close to this one. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put it right here. So I'm literally just crocheting into the single crochet stitches that are on the back of this shell that we had made when we made the shell. So I'll go like in one side, underneath it, out the other side, and then yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, and pull through the 2 loops on the hook to make that single crochet. So I'm gonna do it again. Let's see, chain 2, single crochet in that second chain from the hook, and then I will choose where I want to go next. This is also a great time to be able to weave in some of that extra yarn you had there and make it disappear. On this next one, I'm going to go ahead and go underneath this stitch, go back this direction, and then do that single crochet there. And then we'll chain 2 more times again, single crochet into that second chain, and then I'm going to go back and I'm going to crochet into the edge stitch right here. It's up to you if you pull part of his head up too. I generally don't, because I don't want to risk there being a stitch that comes through on that white part. So I'm going to go ahead and just crochet into this edge loop there, and then I'm going to pull some of this extra yarn with me so I can try to hide that and make it disappear whenever I'm making my single crochet stitch. So I made some of it disappear, some of it's going to be clipped off. Then I'm going to chain 2 more times, make another single crochet stitch into that second chain, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to single crochet into this next one on the edge, and then right before I turn to go back again. So single crochet into that edge piece, and then 2 chains and a single crochet. So now I'm going to turn and go back the other direction. So you can see where you crocheted into those other stitches. You could go like this, or you could go across like this, or you can go into this one. I think this is one I'm probably going to go into, just kind of bring it back around. It is, I've said it multiple times, I'm sure, but like it is really forgiving. So if you decide that you went too far, then you can do another stitch on the next round pretty close, and it's gonna smush it up again against each other, so you won't be able to tell that there was a gap or anything like that. So we'll just keep going. You can see how it really starts to come together, and even though you might have some gaps here and there, like between these stitches, once they all get smushed together, they really start to disappear. And this, one of my favorite things too about this little guy, I think he's adorable. So I'm gonna put a bow tie on this one. I don't love how I stitch these two together, but this is where, you know, creativity comes into play. So you can either fix that, or you can put a little bow tie on him. So this one's gonna be my little boy hedgehog. The other one I think is gonna be really cute. I'm gonna put a little bow in her hair, so a little purple bow. But you'll be able to see both of those in the pictures or at the end of this video. But anyways, I'm gonna keep going all the way around with all of these. Just wanted to check in really quick on where we're at here with this. So finished most of the back. Well, maybe about half of it now that I'm looking at it. But so we've got his little legs still sticking out here at the bottom. Those will kind of stick out a little bit straighter and be less obvious once we have the shell, the spikes sewn around the shell there at the bottom. But as you can see, I'm going in rows just back and forth. I can clearly see them, and I think anyone who crochets could probably see them. People who do not crochet will probably not have a clue. So this, I just wanted to show you what it looks like if you are going in rows back and forth. If you chose to go around, I'm sure I've never done that before. It's certainly an option, and it would look a little bit different. But I think once you have all the rows together, you can see his little spikes. I think he still looks pretty cute. Okay, so I have finished crocheting most of the spikes now on the back. I wanted to just show you how I finish it up. So here at the bottom, you can see the stripes going back and forth. They kind of end up making a little bit of a U back here. I have this little tiny, I've crocheted so far to where I just have this little tiny gap right here at the bottom. So I'm gonna go ahead and just make 1 or 2 more little spike stitches the same way I was doing before, and then just put them into these little stitches that where the gap still is. So it's not huge, and it also isn't necessary, but I'm going to anyways because I like to finish it. So I'll just put 1 more in here at the very end. And now all I'm going to do is just tie it off, and then I'll weave in. I'll save a long end here so I can weave it all in and make it to where it disappears. So that's really all there is to it. You can see this one right here. I did kind of the same thing, so it ended with a little bit of a U, and then on this one though, I ended up actually tying it off. I went back again and I tied it off around here, and then ended up pulling it through. So I'm gonna make this one into a little girl, and then this one's gonna be my little boy with the bow tie. And I think this is a good example too. I don't usually use brown for the shell. It is this light, but it goes to show that you can truly do any color with this. I mean, you can make a blue, purple, any color little hedgehog, and I'm sure they would all be really cute.